Hey guys, I'm Naley Gonzalez and welcome back to my channel. As I've shared before, I'm currently in the process of self-publishing my first novel, meaning just like you, I've suffered through trial and error. There was a time where I believed writing was the hardest part of crafting a novel. I swear all I needed was my imagination and that would get me to where I wanted to be. Sadly, I took in the opinions of people who had no ambitions for themselves. This made my passion for creating stories nothing more than a dream and a hobby for way too long. Then I realized that writing is in fact a realistic career. But first, I had to finish my novel. Changing everything I thought I knew, I researched all the ways that could and would help me focus on completing a first draft. To save you the effort, I'm going to tell you everything I did to get me to my goal. First, I had to have a story idea. Luckily, I had a bunch, but I had to zone in on the one. If you have many to choose from too, go with the one you can't stop thinking about. If it's your favorite, there's a chance it'll be someone else's favorite too. Then, I flesh out the idea by outlining. I've said it in other videos and I'll say it again, an outline keeps you going long after the muses have grown bored. It doesn't have to be perfect in any way, and you can change the outline at any time. But if you have a general direction of your story, you could finish your novel in a month's time or less. Or you can pick back up again after any unexpected writing breaks. Once the outline is done, I get to writing. I find a pen and a notebook and I dedicate it to writing my novel. This old school method works best for me because it limits distractions. An example, the internet. For anything I need to look into, I write a note somewhere on the page. For my last first draft, I couldn't remember the name of the bar my characters go to. Instead of stopping to go through all my notes or searching new bar names, I wrote bar in capital letters and just kept moving. When it comes to writing, I prefer isolating myself and listening to music or just plain silence. This means either getting up early before my husband and son or closing myself off in the room from everyone. Unless someone is dying, don't bother me. This was hard at first because I'm usually the go-to person in the house when things are needed. But after reading Stephen King's On Writing, one of the most important things I took away from it was being unafraid of closing the door. For music, I usually create a playlist for whatever kind of music keeps me immersed in my novel. Then I sync the playlist onto an old iPod Nano that I have so I can avoid texting and social media. Besides avoiding distractions, the best reason for me to write my novel longhand is that my brain fixes the story as I write. A form of prior editing, if you will. I can also take my notebook with me wherever I like, and trust, I take it everywhere. Every time there's downtime of running errands or sitting at appointments, I pull out my notebook and write. This is how you can make every minute count and you won't feel like you wasted the day because you were too busy to write. Be sure to keep it somewhere safe when you're not writing. Remember, this is currently the only physical copy you have of your novel. I've suffered many water casualties because I've left my manuscript on the dining table with a glass of water and 2 curious cats in the house. This is probably the only downside, but if you can fit your notebook in your purse, backpack, or briefcase, you're golden. A while ago, my husband Robert purchased a convertible bag that I'm super envious of, and it's one I totally recommend for writers. If you want, you can fit your laptop, notebooks, folders, outline, and anything else you need for writing. I put the link in the description below. I swear this is not a paid ad. I would just be a monster to other writers if I didn't share this. Anyway, once I've written my novel or started writing my novel, I transcribe it to my preferred writing processor. In my case, it's Noveler. I've completed 2 first drafts and 3 short stories, and I could go on about how great Noveler is, but I'll save it for a future video. When it comes to transcribing, I do it one of 2 ways. After writing a set amount for the week, I put a day aside so I can type up as much of it as I can. Or I write the entire novel by hand, making sure to keep it safe, then type all of it up when I'm done. If you're worried about losing your work, the first option may relieve some of this stress since you already have a chunk to a majority of it typed up and hopefully saved somewhere you can access easily. Okay, Naley, but why don't I just type it up from the beginning and save myself some work? Well, my darling writer, because you are saving yourself some work doing it this way. Writing your novel by hand makes your brain edit before you write it down on paper. Typing up your already written work gives you a chance to edit again before the real work of editing begins. If a sentence you wrote on paper doesn't sound great or just doesn't work, you can fix it now as you type. Once a novel is transferred from notebook to Word document and all the obvious errors have been corrected, it's time to print it out, and then it's off to editing. And there you have it, my editing process. It's far from perfect, but it works for me. Hopefully it works for you too. Tell me in the comments if it does, or share what writing method works best for you. I'm always up to learning something new. Subscribe to my channel for more videos on writing and updates on my novel, and follow me on social media at NaleyGonzalez. Thanks for watching and happy writings. Until next time.